In this video, we're going to show you how to go from this to this. Let's get into it. My wife wanted to create an accent wall for her office on this wall right here. And in this video, we'll show you step by step everything that we did to create this accent wall. We first started out with this sketch, which would represent all of the different boards we used for the accent wall design. To make sure this design would work, we decided to measure all of the dimensions of the wall, then mark the midpoints of the top, bottom, and the sides, and use painter's tape to mark out where the boards would go. My wife also wanted to put this wall tapestry in the center, so we had to make sure there was going to be enough room for that. Taking this step of marking the design with painter's tape really helped us to visualize what the design would look like before we get too far down the road. This is definitely an underrated step, and so if you're doing this, I highly recommend you don't skip this step. The next thing we did was prepare the wall for painting. So we used this nail hole filler to fill all of the holes that were made for different paintings and posters that were hung up on the wall. Then we gave it a nice little sand to make everything smooth and ready to go for paint. Jamie wanted to go with a dark color for the wall, and so we went with this true black from Dutch Boy. And when I told her we needed to shake the paint, this is what she does. When it comes to her, if you ain't having fun, it ain't a project. After giving it a nice mix, it was time to roll it out on the wall. And funny enough, this is the first time that Jamie has actually painted a wall herself. And I have to say, she did a pretty good job. Not that I'm a painting expert, but I did show her a few tips to make sure she got even coverage and make the process go a lot faster. And once you get the hang of it, I think for most people it becomes pretty fun and enjoyable. But I will say, once you get to the edges, you might need to use a tool like this. This tool right here, you put paint on this little sponge part of this brush, and it allows you to get the sides of the wall without cutting in and using a traditional paintbrush technique. So for newbies, it definitely can help to keep things all in one place and not get paint on walls that you don't need it. So we did this for the top, the sides, and even the bottom. And as you can see here, we got a pretty good clean line on the side. This is on the right side, avoiding paint on the wall we didn't want to paint. However, we did have a little bit of difficulty on the top, which it didn't really create a nice even line because of the uneven ceiling. We found a way around this, and so we'll show you that a little bit later. So we went to the store to pick up about 10 8-foot 1x3 MDF boards that are primed and ready for paint. Jamie was going for a metallic gold look, so we found this Rust-Oleum aged metallic spray paint. And of course, you got to shake it up before you start applying. We already knew this process was going to take multiple coats, so we ended up putting about 3 or 4 different coats on each one of the boards just to make sure that the paint covered evenly and had a nice solid look. And while she was doing that, I went ahead and put a second coat of the dark true black on the wall. And as soon as we started changing things around in here, our little bunny came around to see what we were up to. Hopefully she's telling us we're doing a good job so far. Now remember this problem of our uneven line where the wall meets the ceiling? We wanted to cover this up, and we did that by installing a 1x1 MDF trim board. And so what we did was actually paint it the same color as the wall and installed it on all 4 sides at the top, bottom, and the left and the right. It took about 2 coats to make sure that these trim boards were evenly covered. And after a couple coats of painting these trim boards, it's now finally time to install them on the wall. But first, we need to make sure that they're cut to size. The first 4 boards are the easiest because all we have to do is measure the length and make sure we have a 45-degree cut on each end. And before nailing it in, we wanted to dry fit the second board. So we measured that one, made the right cuts, and again at a 45-degree angle on each end. And because we're making outside corners with these 4 trim boards, once you make a 45-degree cut, you'll want to swivel the miter saw to make the 45-degree cut for the next corner. Now it's time to tack these in using brad nails and a nail gun. With those tacked in, then we'll go ahead and cut the next 2 boards and make our full square and trim around our wall. The next thing we did was fill all the holes with wood filler. And because these boards are already painted, all we'll have to do is come back lightly with some paint to make sure that all this gets covered up after a little bit of sanding. Came back with this small little roller to cover up those wood filler holes, and everything seemed to smooth out pretty good. And for the corners, Jamie used a brush just to get inside those seams that would be really hard to get with a roller. Like I mentioned before, it took several coats of this spray paint. We probably used about 8 different cans to do 8 different 8-footers. So it definitely took a lot of paint, but we wanted to make sure it had a nice and even look. Now, this part of the project had to deal with some math and geometry. It's been a while since I've used that, but some of the things that I learned way back when actually came in handy. Because the wall isn't a perfect square, we couldn't cut these boards at a 45-degree angle because they just wouldn't fit. So we had to use good old geometry and the Pythagorean theorem to measure what the angles needed to be for these boards so that we cut them at the right angle so that they would meet at the midpoints of both the side and the top and bottom. This would help us create that diamond that fits within the square. There's no need to bore you with all of the math for our project because your wall dimensions are going to be totally different, but I will say it's helpful to measure from each corner to the midpoint of each side to help you get the dimensions that you'll use with the Pythagorean theorem. And if you don't know what that is or don't know how to calculate it to get the angles, all you have to do is ask ChatGPT or your favorite AI tool, and it will certainly help you with this, because that's exactly what I did. So for our wall, we had to make cuts at 52.6 degrees and at 37.4 degrees on the miter saw, or at least as close as we could get. What was helpful was to cut one side first, make sure it's level, and then dry fit it, and then make our mark on the other side. Once again, we put it in place, made sure it was level on both sides, and then we could tack it in. And with one piece in, it was starting to come to life.
Looks pretty.
So we just repeated this process for the other 3 boards to complete the diamond. And there was a point in time where it was easier to cut through the back of the board, so I put tape on the front facing side so that it wouldn't chip and create those little saw marks. And with some of the cuts needing to be at 52.6 degrees and my miter saw only goes to 45, I had to use my square to actually create that angle. There's nothing like making a cut and it fitting the way it's supposed to. We did the same thing for this top left corner and for the top right corner. And this was the part where all of the vision came to life. For these corner pieces, we did cut them at a 45-degree angle and the other side at a flat 90 and made sure that they were snug to fit. We did the same thing for the other 3 corners of the wall, and to check our work, we used a laser level to make sure that the opposite corners were level with each other. You can see that we're measuring from one corner to the other, and once it's level, you can see that it's hitting the other side's corner. Then to fill in the holes for the gold trim boards, Jamie put a little bit of that wood filler inside of a syringe, just so that it wouldn't create a huge mess and didn't want to have to go back and paint a bigger surface than we needed to. She was very careful to sand just the area where the wood filler was, not to scratch up any other parts of the gold trim. For a couple of the seams, she actually went back and used standard caulk just to fill in that gap, as this was a better way to smooth it over and to apply a little bit of the gold paint. And while there was no easy way to go back and apply a little bit of the paint, what Jamie did was spray some in this little clear cup and use a tiny paintbrush to go back and cover the nail holes and some of the seams. In a perfect world, we would have been able to use standard latex paint with a roller or a brush, but since we used spray paint for this gold metallic look, this was the best option that we came up with. After a little bit of dusting, it's time to show her off. Remember, we started from here and went to here. We really liked the way that it turned out. I would say it was definitely a lot of work and it took some time and patience, but overall we're really happy with how it turned out. It's really satisfying when you have a vision for something and you're able to bring it to life. And I think we did that with this project. And of course, our little bunny inspector had to come and see the wall in its finished state, and I think she approves of it as well. And if you enjoyed this video, we appreciate it if you hit the thumbs up button and subscribe for more content like this. Thank you so much for watching this video. We'll see you in the next one.